What is up, everyone? We are going to be talking about episode 114 of Dragon Ball Super. Let's go ahead and get talking about it, guys. This episode was on point. From the choreography to the animation to just the story, the action, everything was on point. I loved it. It started off right after last week's, where Caulifla as well as Goku and Kale are fighting one another. And Kale goes into her berserk form, and she is losing control. She's getting more powerful. Vegeta is fighting Topo. He feels it, and he's like, is that the power from Kale? And then you see Topo going, I guess the universe Saiyans can't be underestimated. He says, yeah, you're right. He says, and I'm on top of that list. And then he knocks Topo, which was really cool. And then we see Jiren, while he's meditating, all he does is he moves his hands very slightly, like he knows the presence of Kale's berserk form. And then we see everyone else going, I guess she went berserk again, and they're like, that power is incredible. And then we see Goku looking at Kale and Caulifla, and Caulifla's like, I'm so proud of you, Kale. You did it. You have control of the power. And she kind of gives her like a high five. And Kale's like crushing her hand into the damn ground. And you see her going, I know you can hear me. I know you're in there. And she says, I know you have this power. She says, no one's going to be able to fight by my side other than you, Kale. And she's basically giving her the talk that no one else is worthy to kind of fight next to her, and then Kale finally gets control of her power and goes right back to her form, and she says, let's go after him. She says, no, we do it together. And this is what I really like, because they were going after Goku, and Goku was fighting them as Super Saiyan 2 form, and we see where they're fighting him, and they're doing very well as a cohesive unit. They are trading blows, they got a lot of good shots in on Goku. Now, I know there's been a lot of shit from them, but for Caulifla and Kale to get some good shots in on Goku, as well as work together as a team, them getting used to Super Saiyan 2, wanting to go to Super Saiyan 3, and above and beyond, this was something that the entire fan base needs to understand. Yes, they were somewhat on par with Goku, because they were above Super Saiyan 2. They were getting close to being above Super Saiyan 2. Goku is way more powerful than that. Yes, he's still battle damaged, but he still knows how to fight. Now, is he going at full strength? Now, that is something that is still debatable. I think he was going to full strength as a Super Saiyan 2, not anything, because when you're battling two Super Saiyan 2s and you're the only one, then yes, it's going to be a little difficult, which he even admitted that he's going to have to bring his A game. He starts fighting them, and they're bringing a lot more in, and you see where they're fighting one another, and you see where they just keep fighting, and Goku actually does something that is actually really surprising, because you see Caulifla trying to go in for the blow, and you see Goku going, sorry, Tien, I got to use one of your moves, and he uses to blind her, and she gets right into the rock. She's like, ow. She says, why'd you move? Sis was gonna hurt you, and blah blah blah. Because Kale, she was like sis, and she's just going through it all. And then we see Frieza. Frieza's looking, he's going blast. He says, who's gonna be courage enough to fight me next? And you see the policeman from Universe 3, and he says, you, Frieza. He says, I know you are diabolical, and I'm going to fight you. And he says, really? Next thing you know, you just see Kale Goku one-shot him in another direction, and you see Frieza like, and then you see him laughing at Goku. He's like, oh. He's like, are you having issues with them? And he's like saying, well, he says, they're a lot more powerful than you would imagine. And he says, well, he says, you just got rid of me of a plaything. He says, but I guess, he says, you brought me 2 more specimens that will do. He says, I love playing with Saiyans. And then you see Caulifla. She says, you're the one that knocked out Kaba. And he says, yeah, and your point. And then she fires a blast. Goku deflects it, and Frieza's about ready to do it, and then he grabs Frieza's arm. He says, no fair. He says, first come, first serve. He says, but you can watch if you want. He says, fine, very well. He says, fine. He's saying he's fine. He says, this is very entertaining anyway. He says, for my time. And then he says, hurry up and lose. He says, so that way I can have my turn. And then and it was just funny, because when he said that shit, It reminded me so much of what Vegeta used to do, and what he still kind of does to Goku. Like, he's like, "Come on, hurry up, Kakarot, so I can fight after you, or I can win." And that is just the feeling I got off of it. And then he's like, "Well, that's not going to be very easy for me now, will it?" And he just kind of goes back down, and he says, "All right, you two." He says, "Let's keep going." And he says, "Well, you two are a lot more powerful than I assumed." He says, "Let's keep going." And then they start fighting again, and then Goku finally goes right back in the game, and he just goes, "Well," he says, "I guess I gotta go all out now, don't I?" And then he goes into Super Saiyan God form, and he goes, "So he's red now." And then Kale goes, "Blue, red, doesn't matter, we'll crush him." And so Kale actually has more confidence in herself, along with Caulifla, so she starts fighting with him, as well as Caulifla. And Goku unleashes massive amount of attacks on them, deflecting the attacks, hitting them, and then they're like, "Okay, well, let's try this." And Caulifla tries to use the attack. He knocks her on the ground, and then you see Kale using a massive attack saying, "Take this." And she says, "I got him." He goes right through the attack. He says, "Guess again." And he hits her. And then she's like, "How'd that work?" And Caulifla's like, "Okay, let's try 2 blasts." So they try 2 blasts. Goku unleashes a huge Kai blast. Just massive amount goes through it, and it follows Caulifla as she tries to get away, and Kale is pushing it back. Kale is able to push it up in the air, and Caulifla's still trying to get away from it, and then it finally hits Caulifla, and Caulifla goes into almost an unconscious state for a second, and then Kale catches her, and you see where everyone is shocked, because everyone thinks like, "Oh, Goku's so bad damaged, he was going to be able to do this," and Krillin goes, "Well, that is because," he says, "it's Goku." He says, "Goku goes above and beyond." He says, "For our expectations, that's who he is." And then you see Beerus just smiling, and you see Champa trying to like go, "Well, we need to do this." And Caulifla and Kaba and all of them, we see where Kaba's cheering for him. Caulifla is like so bad damaged, she's like still fighting, and she goes on her knees. And then Goku's looking at Kale and Caulifla, and he goes, "You two," he says, "are very well tag teamed." He says, "I look forward," he says, "fighting you again sometime." He says, "I hope it's soon." And then that's when he unleashes a huge Kamehameha wave. And then Caulifla looks at Kale. She says, "Kale," she says, "Yeah." She says, "I said that our power is the best in all the universes, right?" She says, "Yeah." She says, "Then take out that thing we got before the tournament. It's time." And so they got the Potaro earrings right from Choppa, because it goes to a flashback where he gives them. He says, "Use it as a last resort." And they're like, "Well, this ain't my style. Kaba, take it. Kaba, take it." And he says, "No, I don't want it." So they use the Potara fusion at the very last minute, and we see where Kefla is born. We see where Goku unleashes a huge Kamehameha blast, destroys some part of the arena, and we see where Beerus is thinking, "Oh, we won," and then she is born, and then she jumps back onto the arena, and she just looks, and then we see the Caulifla born, and he says, "This power is unbelievable." And we see where Jiren senses it, Topo senses it, and we see where Vegeta senses it, and then he's like, he's a sense of very high energy near Kakarot, and then when you see Topo going, "You're open." And we also see earlier where the policeman was trying to like go like after Frieza. He says, "Come on, catch me." And then Frieza's like, "I'll just ignore that." And Frieza's still looking over the battle. He says, he says, "This is going to be more interesting than I thought." And then you see Kefla try to go after Goku. She's like, she says, "Whoops," and he just kind of looks at her, and then it kind of almost reminded me what happened when Vegeta starts going out, as well as when they start out with the fusion. Same thing with Gotenks. So the next thing you know, she hits Goku right in the end. She's, "I think it's time for me to test my power, don't you?" And she's like, "I feel great." And Goku even was like, he says, "This power," he says, "I don't sense a limit to her power." And you see where everyone's like, "Well, how'd this happen?" And Bado says, "When they fuse," he says, "it's like 10 times their power normal." And then you see where all of them are just going nuts saying they fuse. And then that's how the episode ends. And then we go into next week's episode, where we see the Namekians fighting Gohan and Piccolo, which looks amazing. We also see Kefla versus Goku, and it looks like that she's getting a lot of hits on Goku, and then Goku finally goes Super Saiyan Blue. And then, of course, the title is Kefla versus Goku, Super Saiyan Blue defeated. So we know from spoilers, if you guys did not go check that out, go check it out. It's on my channel. That Super Saiyan Blue apparently is not going to be enough, but then I guess he goes Kaioken on her. But again, we all know that Goku is more experienced than Kefla, but now that it's fusion, of course, it's going to be a lot more powerful. So it's going to be really interesting. Now, for the episode as a whole, I want to talk about the episode as a whole. It was absolutely incredible. The animation was absolutely beautiful. The fighting was amazing. Just the suspense of what's going to happen. I mean, we knew they were going to fuse, but if you guys do not watch spoilers, and you guys do not like listen to spoilers like I do, because I mean I can't help it. But if you do not, if you're one of those people that like I don't want spoilers, I don't want to be spoiled, and you're in there, and it's like for me when I was a kid, when I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and now it's like I still get that feeling like, oh my god, I know what's gonna happen, but oh my gosh, you know, like we get that suspense, and that's what Dragon Ball can still do for the fan base and as a viewer, and not just as a reviewer. But it's very amazing to just watch this and still guess what may or could have happened, and to see. I do love I love Khalifa, I love Kale and Goku. With that fight was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. It was on point. And then just that scene with Frieza. Frieza, I keep telling you guys and everything I've seen, they are saving Frieza up for something. He is not using his power to the full potential. He is playing around. He's just observing. I'm telling you guys, he's going to be one of those guys that's just going to come in and sweep everybody from the lower universes and go, you're not wasting my time. Now, we even saw Dispo going, I can't take this guy right now. And Dispo is still battle damage, so more than likely, personally, I would like to see Frieza fight Dispo. Me, personally, I really would, because personally, with the Topo versus Vegeta fight, I think they're trying to hold out as long as they can to make sure, because if Topo loses, then that's going to make fans not like Topo even more, and if Vegeta loses, the whole fan base, including me, is going to lose their damn mind. And I think that of everyone, that just the fight between Khalifa and Kale, they have more respect for one another. Kale now knows that Khalifa knows her power. Khalifa wants to get more powerful as well as Kale, but she wants to do it together as friends and as so-called AKA sisters. So I think that was really cool to show that confidence in herself as well as in her protege. So I think that was just an amazing episode nevertheless. But if you guys did enjoy this, please leave a like as well as subscribe to the channel. If you are new, consider about subscribing, as well as click the notification bell. That way you guys do not miss none of my videos. Also, click down the links down the description below. That way you guys do not miss none of my posting as well as my videos on the channel as well. And if you do, you'll be able to have a direct link to the channel as well. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.